השערי מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. The sweet cello phrases bring in the sweetness of Shabbat. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא הקדוש ברוך הוא הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Don.
Shabbat Shalom, Beau.
Nice to see you this evening. It's like we're back in the thick of summer, I guess. At home, me in the study, you in the dining room. I thought Nancy kicked you out of the dining room finally.
Oh, definitely that happened. But, for this, actually, for the last Taste of Shabbat, I was up in Jillian's bedroom, and I got a lot of comments. People did not like that. Where's the dining room? So
right. It's the armoire has just become part of your
exactly. It's kind of like the armoire.
Why don't we welcome Shabbat together with Shabbat light, with the lighting of our Shabbat candles, and with Kiddush and Motzi.
Beautiful. All right. So if you have a prayer book at home, we are on page 2 in our prayer book, I believe, and we're all going to join together. So let's light our Shabbat candles and let's join. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. And now, let's raise our Kiddush cups, all of you at home, and we'll join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah למקראי קודש, Zecher Yitziat Mitzrayim, Ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava u'v'ratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Fine.
And now, let's take hold of that beautiful challah for Shabbat. All the kids, take hold of that challah. Get ready for the challah pull. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Pull that challah. Take a sweet and Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Well, Don, I was thinking this week, as you well know, right, we have Parshat Toldot, which has some of the most dramatic scenes, some of the most dramatic narratives in the entire book of Exodus, entire book of Genesis, if not the entire Torah, really. Isaac and Rebekah finally pregnant with twins, no less. Rebekah gives birth to Jacob and Esau, and from the moment she gives birth, they are at odds with one another, slightly different personalities, as any of us who have more than one child know. And this just gets worse as they grow up and get older. Jacob, we might call in today's vernacular, was an indoor kid, whereas Esau, a little more the outdoor kid.
Is that what they call them now, Beau? Is it indoor and outdoor kids?
Yeah, I think so.
Good to know.
I think so. And like I said, the drama just gets worse. Isaac, their father, plays favorites and favors Esau. Rebekah, their mother, also plays favorites and favors Jacob. It's usually right around this point when I'm incredibly thankful that I'm an only child, because the drama just continues to unfold. And then, as many of us know the story, Esau ends up, selling his birthright blessing for a bowl of lentil soup one afternoon when he comes home hungry after hunting. And then Jacob, with his mother's help, impersonates his brother Esau to coerce and trick Isaac into giving Jacob Esau's birthright blessing. And truth be told, the story has always not really sat well with me. It sort of bothers me. I think that the dysfunctional family dynamic and these two brothers deceiving each other and deceiving their parents with their parents' help. Don, what do you make of this?
I will tell you about the story has resonated within me since I was a kid, and reading and learning this story for the first time, in Hebrew school at the age of, 6 or 7. And it was both compelling and fascinating as a kid. It actually held my attention, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
But also it was disturbing. I have an older brother. I'm the younger brother, and as a kid, I could use it, to tease my older brother. Well, I'm younger, but I get the birthright, and the tension between them, and the hatred, and the conniving behind the scenes of their mother.
Yeah,
these things disturbed me as a child, and they still do now. I'm teaching third grade class at Browerman, and we study the weekly portion together. And they too, they're 8 years old, and they cannot accept it. They have so many questions. It's disturbing.
I mean, I think we can take some solace in the fact that, a few weeks from now in the Torah, they ultimately, forgive each other and hug each other and weep together.
Yeah.
And sort of,
and then again, go their separate ways, which, that's okay.
But, one of the things, and I think I thought about this differently when Simon was born, when our son was born a year and a half or so ago. which was this sense of, isn't there enough, there's not a finite amount of blessing in the world, a finite amount of love in the world. And the idea, any parent knows you don't have a second child and suddenly love the first one less, right? So I always felt like isn't there enough blessing to go around? What kind of father is Isaac that he doesn't have a place in his heart or a blessing to offer each of his children? And I was thinking about that this week, and sort of reading the Torah portion maybe a little closer than I have in years past. And I noticed something that, for whatever reason, I never picked up on before, which is that Isaac actually gives Jacob two blessings.
He does.
He gives Jacob one blessing when he thinks Jacob is Esau. He gives Jacob a second blessing when he knows it's Jacob, before he leaves to go to a new land.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when I thought about it, means he did have a blessing for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a little bit of digging and trying to kind of, think more about this. And I found a beautiful teaching from the late Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, the former chief rabbi of the United Kingdom. Brilliant scholar who picks up on this as well. That, like any parent, right? We understand that our children are different and have different needs in different places in our heart, but one's not, better than the other, and that there's plenty of love and plenty of blessing to go around. And so Rabbi Sachs suggests that, yes, of course, Isaac loved Esau, but that doesn't blind him to the fact that he knew that Jacob would be the heir of the covenant, of this relationship established with Abraham, God, passed to Isaac, and ultimately Jacob. And as a result, Isaac prepares two sets of blessings, one for Esau and the other for Jacob. And if we look at the blessings, he blesses Esau with the gifts that he thinks Esau will appreciate: wealth and power.
Mm-hmm.
He says, may God give you heaven's dew and earth's riches and abundance of grain and new wine. That's wealth.
That's true.
And may nations serve you and people bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. That's power.
Mm-hmm.
But when I thought about it, that may be the birthright blessing of inheritance and material things. It's not the covenantal blessings. That's totally different than the blessings that God gives to Abraham and Isaac. Those are completely different. Those are about children, about land. And that is the blessing that Isaac later gives to Jacob before he leaves, knowing that it's Jacob.
Yeah, that's the
right?
Future of the Jewish people.
Exactly, right?
For him.
Exactly. He says, may God bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of peoples, children. Yeah. And may God give you and your descendants the blessings given to Abraham, so that you take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham.
Yeah.
Land. That was the blessing that Isaac had intended for Jacob the whole time.
Yeah.
He had enough for both of his sons. There was no need for the deceit and for the disguise. No need for all of the trickery and conniving. Because I don't know what you think, Don, but I think that that Isaac really had an appropriate blessing for each of his kids all along, because he knew that, blessings abound in the world, and that our capacity to love other people and bless them is limitless.
Blessing, according to the strengths of each person, because they are different, and we love them in those ways. I also, in the same breath, by the way, that's a beautiful insight. I had not.
All these years, I never really looked at it closely enough to realize it. He has something for each of them.
Yes, he did.
It was all for naught.
Yeah,
they could have spared themselves so much, mushigas.
Well, think of how traumatized, damaged, poor old Isaac is.
Oh,
all right. He was going to be offered up by his father. And however old he actually was or was meant to be in the Torah story, he's traumatized for life.
Oh,
Imagine the feelings of abandonment. Dad, what are you doing, Dad? And he carries that with him. And yet, even with all that, and he's basically blind and hard of hearing, but the purity and the goodness of the innocent Isaac is still there, enough so that he does have these beautiful blessings in his mind and heart for each of his two sons.
well, and I think, this also underscores something that people have heard me say many times. The Torah is unique in kind of the space of civilizations, mythology, and sort of stories about how they developed. In that, think about the heroes in Greek mythology; they're all perfect and flawless. The heroes of the Torah, as we just saw, are quite the opposite. They are
Fully flawed human beings. Right?
Well, that's the point, right? They're human. They're real. They're like us. So, this is also, lest we think our own families are unique when we have our dysfunctions. The Torah is telling us no, and to be human.
I'm not sure if in the moment of these family dysfunctions that's any solace, but the truth is, it is true. It is common to all human beings. Right?
It is. So, just a little food for thought for all of us as we
that was wonderful.
Embrace these blessings of Shabbat as we enter Shabbat.
Yes. We'll say Shabbat Shalom and wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat beginning at sundown tonight. For those who can, join us for Shabbat evening services at 6:30 p.m. in person. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Shalom bimromav, yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimromav, yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Israel, Israel, v'imru amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.